Today we turn to the beginning of 2 Peter in chapter 1, verses 5 through 7, which emphasize the importance for you and for me of making every effort to grow in godliness. Peter says, for this very reason, you must make every effort to support your faith with goodness, and goodness with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with endurance, and endurance with godliness, and godliness with mutual affection, and mutual affection with love. As you can tell, I had a hard time limiting myself to a verse of the day because this whole section in the beginning of 2 Peter chapter 1 from verse 3 through 11 really deserves some extended reflection on your part. I really encourage you to look at this whole passage. But quickly today, I want to make a couple highlights. One, sometimes people think that grace is opposed to effort, that I don't have to do anything because God by grace has already done everything for me. Well, grace is opposed to earning. We can't earn God's love or mercy or grace in our lives. But grace is not opposed to effort. And we see that throughout the writings of the New Testament, from the letters of Paul, who talks about pummeling his body and subduing it and running so that he may win the prize. In Hebrews, it's right, run the race that is set before you with perseverance. There's lots of imagery that evokes the truth that being a Christian requires tremendous effort. And that effort is not to earn salvation or grace. That effort is to grow in godliness and in holiness. One of the things that Christians can slide into if we're not careful is constantly focusing on and talking about issues that are out there in the culture. And again, these may be issues that we say, oh, I'm a Christian, so I'm really concerned about this particular issue, and the church needs to take a strong stance on this particular issue. And so often the issues that we're talking about don't affect our lives at all. And it's a trap, a spiritual trap. Because if you read the Gospels, who are the people who most frequently are criticizing people for the way they're living their lives and their lack of holiness, their lack of obedience, their lack of righteousness? Who are the people who do that over and over in the Gospels? They're a group. Some of you even know their name. They're Pharisees. And Jesus' strongest condemnation is actually not for the sinful. It's for the self-righteous Pharisees who are always justifying their own righteousness and holiness, criticizing other people, and never turning the mirror on themselves for how do they need to grow in godliness and holiness. And Peter says you got to make every effort to support your faith with goodness, with knowledge, self-control, endurance, mutual affection, and love. How are you doing at growing in those things? I encourage you, once I stop talking, to reflect on those different qualities and which ones especially do you want to grow in and practice today.